All right, one last look at the house. She goes down in 2 days. She's seen better days here. I think it might be a little jarring to some. As you can see, Habitat for Humanity has been here and, well, stripped her pretty well clean. All the wood paneling. Here's the front hall. I remember well having to clean this grout on a beautiful summer day, hands and knees with a toothbrush, before I could go out and play on the lake. I also remember that Kevin was wrestling here in this front hall, and there was some freshly sharpened speed skates, and I believe it was Kevin cut his eyebrow on the skate. Came very close to actually cutting too close to the eye. Some great memories here in the dining room. Family dinners. Can't wait to get away from the table when I was younger. And then looking forward to sitting at the table and chatting as we got older. In the kitchen here, a little blown out, but this one is full of memories, I think, for everybody. I remember when we expanded this kitchen, it came to a stop right about, I don't know, here-ish. But, Kevin emailed me a little story about the kitchen in particular, and how one night, he was here with Paul Bryant, and Paul was staying over, and he came up into the kitchen to get a drink of some sort or another, and he came upon Tag, and as we're all aware, with it being late at night, Tag was in his bedclothes, which consisted of a too short t-shirt and nothing else. And I've got more than a few friends who have been scarred by that image as well. I think we all have friends who, would like to scrub their eyes out from having seen that. Some fabulous memories here in the great room, the Christmas trees. Michael was telling me a story recently about one Christmas in particular that he remembered, where he was home and they were decorating the Christmas tree, and Dad is sort of doing his thing and trying to get out of doing as much work as he can, and Mom is here in the den, in the great room, vacuuming, and she's vacuuming, and they're trying to get the tree set up, and the tree fell on her. Fortunately, she wasn't hurt, but it fell on her, and Michael just has this clear recollection of Dad coming in and looking for Mom and not being able to find her and not being able to hear her because the vacuum cleaner was running and she was under the tree. And how he was, exacerbated by, or, sort of irked by that situation. We got the den here. I remember playing in the den, having lots of fun in this room. Kevin has a particular memory of the den, wherein this was probably back sometime in the early 80s, I would imagine. Although, based on the contents of the story, it really could have been at any point in time. including last summer. But Kevin has a memory of being here in the den with Paul Bryant and Jim Loeb and, a large group of people, and they're sort of hanging out and having fun, and Michael comes in to the room. He had been screaming in the bathroom, and nobody was paying any attention, unfortunately. And he came into the room and demanded of Kevin, or whoever would be willing, to come and wipe his butt. And I think we all have memories of Michael doing that as well. But just some great memories. The mantle's gone, but all the great Christmases with the stockings and just the family gatherings, everything. I remember when I was in college one year, and this would have been back in like 1992, I think, somewhere in that neighborhood. And some college friends had come out to help take the pier out, and we had finished taking out the pier, and we got up in time to watch the Packers game, and they were playing the Bengals, and they had sort of a tough game, and they were down, and Mikowski got hurt, and in came this hotshot that they had traded a first-round draft pick for, named Brett Favre, and he promptly led the Packers on a game-winning drive and hit Kittrick Taylor for like a 30 or 40-yard pass to win the game, and just everybody exploding. And Michael has a similar memory to that. Fast forward many years later into the 2000s, and the Packers needed the Vikings to lose to Minnesota to get into the playoffs. This might have been like 2004 or something, and we were all sitting here in the den. This was right around Christmas time, and we had watched the Packer game, and then immediately switched over to the Minnesota-Arizona game, and Arizona seemingly out of the game, just no chance of winning, and somehow they managed to come back, and there was an amazing pass and catch, and the receiver just barely got his feet in bounds, and there was a review, and after further review, the touchdown was good, and the Packers were in the playoffs, and the room exploded, and Lambeau Field, they showed Lambeau Field crowd watching the game, and they exploded, and it's just great times and great memories. And so here we're now back in the driveway bedrooms. We're back here, and this is where Michael and I roomed together for quite some time with the water beds. I remember playing Voltron or Spaceman with Michael, and he'd be in the bed next to me and would need some comfort or just a little something to help him get to sleep. And so oftentimes he would climb into bed with me, and we would sort of pull the covers up over our head and pretend we were in a spaceship and flying off into space. I don't know if Michael remembers this, but I certainly have very, very distinct memories of that. And then Kevin has a very humorous memory of this front bedroom. This was one night while he was in college, and he was he had worked all day, either doing construction or landscaping or something, and then had worked most of the evening as a bartender. And he came in and he was a little drunk, and it was very hot out, and he was super tired and hot, from a long day's worth of work. And he came in, and at the time I think there were two twin beds in this room, and he came in and basically climbed on top of the sheets buck naked and went to sleep. And as I recall the story going, he was woken up the next morning to Roseanne's screams of shock and dismay, as he did not realize that she was sleeping in here, and she had woken up and sort of stumbled and washed the sleep out of her eyes, and then come back into the bedroom and flipped on the light, only to find Kevin buck naked on top of the bed and fast asleep. Needless to say, they both had quite a rude awakening from that one. As we walk back through the house, Jack took a few swings here at the wall. He was really excited about that. Just a fabulous kitchen. So many great memories in here. Yeah. Oh, and Michael wanted me to remind people of the wall. It's gone now, but all of our heights essentially turned into an autograph wall at some point, but just all of the people who've come through the house, all the names, new faces flashing through the mind. The downstairs. I remember the downstairs. I remember when it was just this, and this whole area here, essentially from this wall right here on across that way, was closed off, and so this was our downstairs area right here, and the pool table. And we had the little couch set up in the tall TV stand. And I just remember all the Hobie's pool tournaments that we had here before it got too big and it had to move off-site. I remember, playing football with Tim down here. And it's no surprise that Michael has memories of doing that as well. We would pull all of the pillows out. This was right in this area here. We would pull all the pillows off the couches and grab a bunch of blankets, and we would essentially make a really soft landing end zone. And then we would come through and we would play football from one end of the room to the next, and then do goal line stands, which basically meant it was a free shot to flip people up over our heads and land on the cushions, a la, Walter Payton or Tony Dorsett or Robert Newhouse or whoever was the popular running back of the time. But just some fabulous times down here. Just some great memories, and I think everybody has a place in their heart for this downstairs rec room and just all the fun times that we had. Not the least of which being the fun times that we had as we got older. The infamous fart photo that was right over here on the couches. Sort of a last supper of stench, if you will. But just great times. And some just... this was the This was the room everybody wanted. Everybody couldn't wait to be old enough to have the downstairs bedroom. Easy access, easy in and out. Just good times. I remember when we remodeled all this, and David and I essentially spent our senior year of high school hauling crap out of here as they made the laundry room and tore the offices apart and put the desks over there and expanded the porch. That's the porch there where I had a nail drop through my toe. An amazing event. Grandma and Grandpa's apartment, which is crazy to think about that they were here and that they managed to keep their sanity with 5 boys running around upstairs, you know, playing Nerf basketball in the great room, doing dunk contests, just having a grand old time and doing our best not to get caught by Mom and Dad as we would wait for the car lights to be coming up the driveway, and we would do one final Clyde Drexler Phi Slamma Jamma Alley-oop jam. Rip that thing off. Never once realizing that being out of breath was a pretty sure sign, and having the wood right there, all that stain come off from the duct tape that we used to tape that hoop up. You can still see the scratches. You can still see where it's worn out. It's amazing. It's just a yep. It's just going to be coming down day after tomorrow. So soak it in, cherish it, and then get ready to create a whole host of new memories in a new house. And while the house might be different, the people are the same. Okay. Here we go. One last goodbye.